So I have one of my students, Johnny, here today, and we want to discuss some of the very big improvements and growth that Johnny has had. Let's introduce him. How you doing, Johnny?
I'm doing good. How about yourself, Corey?
Not too bad. I'm glad to have you here and to share your experience since joining the Discord. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
How long have you been in the stock market for, and what actually got you into options?
I've been trading stocks for about 3 or 4 years, and I encountered options January of last year. So about a year and a half. Started buying puts, buying calls, um, went through in and outs, went through some struggles, and I was up 1 month, down the other month, up 1 month. Overall, I was kind of doing okay, but I would see the good profits, and then I would just they would disappear. And then I started seeing options, started seeing your videos. So I probably watched your videos for a good 3 months. And you're always leery. I had joined another Discord. I paid money, and it just wasn't really what I was looking for. They weren't really giving me the direction. So I was kind of leery about joining another Discord. So I kind of waited. When I felt comfortable, I made the leap and joined your Discord in January.
Awesome. I'm glad to have you, Johnny. It's a pleasure, and I'm glad that things are a lot better than they were. I have a lot of students that have come in from other discords, and they all pretty much say the same thing because my methods are a lot different than others because I'm bringing in hedge funds way of trading, which is a lot of psychology, and it's very important. And no other discord or coach that I've ever heard of does that, especially from what my students are saying. So it's very, very helpful for you guys when you're learning something that is that powerful that no one else is teaching. What do you feel like stood out to you about me more than others that made you trust me?
It's just the way that you explain things. I think that it's not a get rich quick scheme. Or sometimes people will say, "Look at you can make $1 million, or you can retire next year." And I think what you were putting out, the message that you were putting out was, you know what I mean? It's not about that. And by joining the Discord, you actually even go into more depth about, I mean, taking it nice and slow, learning. And that's probably what I've done. I've probably seen your modules several times. I've been through boot camp. I've watched it over again, and it's just learning. And you teach that during the Zoom calls too.
Awesome. Glad to hear. This is a very, very good thing because the difference is that in a lot of other places, they teach trading, day trading, or they teach investing slash trading to be all about your account size versus what you're willing to spend or not willing to spend and how much profit you can make. They don't focus enough on the important aspects. The most important aspects to focus on, like I've said many times, most important psychology and safety and consistency, which is exactly what my students, including you, love the most. As far as your options journey, what did you start with? What was your biggest experience in the beginning? What were your biggest challenges while you tried to navigate options?
Well, I started off roughly about 80,000. When I joined, I got into a pickle because AMD was dropping. I know that AMD is a good company. I wind up buying 300 shares of AMD with that account, which was a no-no. I think the biggest obstacle was holding that. After I bought those 300, I joined your Discord and I learned about the 10-10-10 rule. I learned about not going over 10% on any one stock. So when it dropped to like 89 or 90, when you were telling us to DCA, I just kept my cool. I mean, I was a little worried, but eventually it came back up. I mean, it started going up, and I'm in the positive now. It was a lot of psychology because there was a lot of times where I just wanted to sell it and take it for a loss. But you told us to that it was going to go up in July, and it did. You know what I mean? You were saying it all along.
Awesome. I'm very happy to hear. And I did tell everyone in Discord when it was down to DCA in January and February and March, and really in March when it was down in the 80s and 90s, I told everyone to, buckle down, double down on it, DCA, get ready. Even the leap options that I gave Discord were 125 leaps expiring July 18th, which is next week. And over the last couple of weeks, it's been running. It literally ran into the actual expiration of the leaps. So it was something that I called out several months ago, and I was able to do this with hedge fund and dark pool data. I saw a lot of divergence in the summer. I knew that it was likely, very, not 100%, but very, very likely to run between June and August, July being in the middle, and July typically being fundamentally a better month than August. So I knew that was really strong, and I'm glad that you were able to ride that up and turn these losses into wins
Oh yeah.
and learn the psychology. And you also have done boot camp as well, which is very important. Another question I want to ask you, which I'm sure everybody's waiting for this one. How much are you up in total since joining the Discord?
I'm up to the count is 118.9. So I'm up like 35%, 40%, 40% on that account. On that account that I was down when I joined, I was down maybe 40%. So actually, since I joined your program, I'm up 85% since I joined your program.
That is incredible. So as far as dollar value, you said it's worth about 119.
When I joined, it was 82,000
That's awesome. So you're up about $37,000 in a couple of months.
in a
Like
couple of months. Yeah. Yeah.
it's really good. So what are your plans moving forward? Are you putting more money in, working with what you have? What is your overall plan with options and investing?
Yeah, I'm just basically I'm still investing. I don't need the money that I'm investing right now. I'm looking forward making a consistent monthly profit so I basically can retire and use that money for retirement.
Awesome. Very good plan. My goal is to help you do that because that's
Yeah.
what I've set out to do is to give people the opportunity to have financial freedom. Pretty much do everything I ever wanted to do. A lot of my students are now achieving that, and my goal is to help more and more people do that. So I really like hearing that, and I think our journey going forward is going to be even better. It's going to be consistent growth. And that is the goal. With the money that you've made so far, what was the main thing of value that you got from the Discord? Was it the coaching calls Mondays and Thursdays? Was it the module videos, 5, 6 hours of the videos that you watch when you sign up? Was it the boot camp, or was it the psychology and the trades that I give you? Pretty much you can summarize how they were valuable for you.
I think any of those individually are worth their weight, but I think when you put them all together, I think it's priceless. The psychology alone and the information that you get from the modules and the calls that we are the Zoom calls that are twice a week. I think those when you put them all together, it's invaluable. I don't think I would have been where I'm at now and where I see myself going in the future without it because it's just a combination. I'm still learning. It's good, and I plan to be in this Discord for a while. So because the information is great.
Awesome. Very glad to hear. Love having you. And I love hearing the success stories of all of my students in the Discord, including yourself. Last question. What would you tell someone who's been watching me and wants to join, but is skeptical? Maybe they're not sure if they can trust me or they've heard some things that might be negative. What would your message to them be as someone who's been in the Discord and experienced it?
If you want to learn and if you want to grow your assets or your income, and you want to learn something, and then I would definitely join the program because it's nice and steady. I don't think you're not swinging for home runs. You're trying to get on base. You're trying to get on base, and that's what we work on. Eventually, we're winning the game. I think if you're gonna join this Discord, you got to be patient. You've got to understand why we do certain trades or why you do certain trades and why I'm doing certain trades myself. And the only way to do that is to go through the modules, listen to the calls and just take it one bat at a time, one stock at a time, one option at a time.
Awesome. I'm glad to hear. And that is a really honest answer. And I love that because the idea is to make safe, consistent income and not try to swing too hard for consistent home runs because then you risk all your capital. The
Definitely.
idea is to consistently win, which is what we do. And when I see opportunities like AMD, Microsoft, Wayfair, Walmart, Hims, Robinhood, this list is pretty big. SoFi, Palantir, all of the stocks that we've printed on, we will continue to have those opportunities. But in the meantime, in between those big opportunities, consistency, safety, psychology, all the big keys so that nobody is left holding the bag. That is the key.
That's true.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate you doing this testimonial, Johnny. I'm sure it's going to be an inspiration to many, just like my other testimonials. New potential students love to see real student reviews and results in the Discord. So it's really important to them and to me. And so I appreciate your time. Thanks so much, Johnny. And we'll see you in
You're
the
welcome.
Discord.
Thank you so much for having me.